So it is the much anticipated bunk bed patch day, and with this patch we are getting a few more surprises that I will go over. If you did not catch the Sims team's live stream for this, then spoiler alert, you didn't miss too much. This is less than 30 minutes and I was a bit underwhelmed. So I'm going to give you the quick and dirty of what we found out during this live stream. Before we jump right in, if you're new here, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell to be notified of future videos, and if you like what you see, please do hit the like button so I know to keep making content like this. So during this live stream, we got to first have the Sims team showcase some new hairstyles. So I'm actually on the Sims page, What's New. SimGuru Nidra dropped this link to these updates, patch notes for this update that we're getting today in the live stream chat. So I promptly clicked, and as you can see, these are some of the hairstyles that they previewed for us during the live stream. As you can see, this was the puff pigtail hair style that was already in game. They updated the texture and the hairline so that it looks a little better, and it definitely looks to be a whole lot more usable. I can appreciate that. They also updated a few more hairstyles for us. So as you can see, the puff hairstyle is updated across every single age category, and they also updated this hairstyle for males, again giving it a more textured look, and across all the age lifespan for that one, and this one for, I think they're just showing those same two on male and female swap just to see what they look like, and that's what they look like. It looks good to me. I don't really have any complaints. The second thing that they updated was they added a couple more swatches to some art pieces. So this was the one that I was a little bit surprised about, pleasantly so, because there has been a whole lot of chatter and criticism to the Sims community that a lot of the artwork in game is very Eurocentric, and there's not a whole lot of diversity in skin tone of the people featured in the artwork. Namely, a lot of the historical paintings are all white people. Let's just be real. So it was nice to see that they actually listened to that bit of criticism, just because I think that's a piece of criticism that isn't talked about a whole lot. I know it is amongst many of us of color. Many Black Simmers have talked about it, about how a lot of us will use a whole lot of CC artwork to represent us culturally in our Black Sims households, because there just isn't a whole lot of in-game artwork that shows Black people. But it seems they actually did latch on the fact that yeah, there isn't a whole lot of diversity in our artwork, so maybe we should do something about that. So I can appreciate that. As you can see with this space art piece, they did give us a couple more skin tone swatches. So I believe these were the ones that were already in game up top, and all they did with those ones is just change the color of the rocket. But they added 3 more where there's like a darker skinned female, a lighter skin, and then it looks as though this last one's a little bit more olive toned, more of the like skin tone complexions you find in a lot of Asian cultures. This, I think, that one. But you know, it gives us a little bit more variety if you have a sim of color that you play with, so that they don't just have to have white people in their walls. Similarly, they did the same with this chef poster. They added some more skin tones for the chef and for this sports poster as well, and this idol teen poster. And again, with the Harry Pufferhead poster, there is a little bit more skin tone diversity, and the list goes on. There's a whole lot of posters. As you can see, they updated the skin tones so that your child sims of color aren't relegated to just having to use white people posters on their wall. This one was actually the one I was the most excited about, the fact that they updated the historical photos to have people of color and not just white people. I think that was the most egregious for me, the fact that all the historical paintings in the game were very Eurocentric, westernized, all white people pictures, and it's a little bit disappointing when you're a simmer of color and you want to have maybe something like that in your household, especially if you have like a Black family that you imagine has a deep-rooted history, that, you know, generations to generations, they have a family there. It'd be nice to have something like this, especially if you were someone who plays like the Decades Challenge. Could you imagine now you can put something like this on your wall if you wanted to play with Black people in the Generation Challenge, or if you want to play with Asian people in the Generation Challenge. You now have more options as far as like historical looking photos that are in game without having to download CC. So I really enjoyed that. And the same with these ones. This right here is gorgeous. Like this Black woman with her head wrap. I adore it. I love that one probably the best. And I believe this is the last one. I think the only critique I have of this one, there's two, and the second critique may be a bit controversial, but it was the first thing that jumped out to me. And like, but we'll start out by saying that they added 2 more swatches to this historical painting. Of course, before it was just a female and a male from like Victorian times, probably looks like England or somewhere in Europe, and they added 2 swatches, this black couple, male, and then this, I think it's like Asian couple that is female. So I totally adore and stand by the fact that they gave us swatches that again have more people of color in them needed, and I do appreciate the fact that they have paintings that show representation for LGBTQ, because as far as I'm concerned, I don't think that we have like any photos in game that are LGBTQ. So that is definitely a much needed a thing in the game that has been overlooked, and so I'm glad that we have this representation here. But I do find it interesting how these 2 swatches for the people of color, the black people of color, are a little bit more contemporary than these ones. So to me, I wish they would have included a swatch that had something a little bit more dated, so that if you wanted something in this vein, you now have options with people that look like you if you're darker skinned like me. So there's that. And 2, I did notice the fact that I love the representation, but I would have loved if they had, you know, male, female, and then like a hetero couple of both races too. Because now this swatch doesn't really give you any options if you are playing a family that had like a male-female couple in past generations that you would want to represent. Either contemporary or in the past, you don't have any options for this swatch. But it's great if you have a male couple or female couple, because you can use that for this. But I guess in that same sense, it would be nice if they had male and female couples in other races too, because now if you have like a Caucasian couple that's same sex, you don't have a in-game option for that either. So, you know, there still needs to be work that's done there. But of course, there's the bunk beds. So I wasn't, I hate to say this, but I really wasn't all that super excited about bunk beds in games. I'm glad that we have that as an option now, after all this time, for there to be bunk beds in the game for your Sims to use. And it's definitely going to be a space saver, especially if you play like 100 Baby. Like, this is going to be game changing for your challenge. And if you don't play with CC or you play on console, then, you know, game changer, yes. But I don't know, like, I think maybe I'm not like a huge fan of the in-game bed swatches, especially for children. The textures need work. I would have loved if they had made bunk beds and then gave us new swatches for the bed, because I'm just gonna be like honest, you guys, I hate the in-game base game child swatches for their beds. They're not cute. So I'm probably just going to end up still sticking with my Pondasama Bunk Beds that I've been using, just because they're a little bit more versatile and they just look cuter. And I don't know if this has been confirmed. I'm going to have to test it out in game, but apparently like you can have a lofted bed, but you can't loft it above anything except for another bed. As far as I'm concerned, I still have to read these notes in detail to see if that's actually true and test it out. But if that's true, that's such a missed opportunity. Like, I don't understand the point of having a lofted bed if you can't put anything underneath the bed but another bed. Like, I would love to be able to put a desk or like a sofa or something underneath that to, you know, maximize the space a bit more than just another bed. Like, it doesn't give me any incentive to get rid of my Pondasama bunks anytime soon, because I can do that with her bunks. So, you know, get Pondasama's bunks if you can. And going into bug fixes there, which I'm not actually going to delve too deeply into that, because I kind of want to touch base on the thing about the live stream that I wasn't jazzed about. So after they went over the new swatches we have for posters and paintings and the new hairstyles, they did spend a bit of time addressing a lot of the needs of the community, things that the community has been clamoring for quite a while, namely generations and cars. And like, I'm just going to go ahead and throw in a bunch of other things too, because there are a lot of things we've been asking for: generations, cars, hotels, better babies, the whole gamut. And what I didn't appreciate about their answer is this very long corporate-y speak jargon gobbledygook of, we hear you and we're working on it, but we just have to, logistically go through when we can, like, it was just a super long answer just to tell the community literally nothing. Like, they didn't even tell us that they would actually be incorporating them. They said that, well, we still have to have several meetings to see what makes sense, and then several meetings after that to just see how we can implement them, which is so weird and confusing to me, because this like really keys into the whole idea with the Sims team a lot of times, that there's a lack of transparency in their transparency, and that's that they'll be open and tell us some things, but then they won't be clear and specific about why they can't figure certain things out or implement certain things, or what it really even means to say that they have to sit down and think about how they can do it. Like, Miss Money had put out a tweet earlier today to the Sims team asking them why it took them this long to include bunk beds when we've had ladders for quite some time, and that seems, in my mind, to be half the work. And I feel like if they were a whole lot more transparent about the actual work that goes into, for instance, taking something like ladder climbing animation and applying it to beds we already have in game to make bunk beds, why that's such a long process to put in the game, then we'd be able to cut the Sims team a whole lot of slack when it comes to why we aren't seeing things we've been asking for literally years in the game. And like, until they give us that level of transparency, to me it just doesn't cut it for them to get onto a 20-minute live stream where they literally tell us nothing about why we don't have generations, or even if we're ever going to get it, and if we're not going to get it, then why. Because at this point, I don't appreciate feeling strung along saying, oh, we want to keep this game going for years to come, but you're not being clear or transparent to me on why apparently I may have to wait years for a generations pack, why I may have to wait years for better babies and cars or hotels even, or any of these things, or if these things are even a possibility. Like, I wish they would just like not say anything then. Just say, look, we hear you, and we just haven't figured out the logistics of any of this stuff right now. And until we have those figured out, we'll tell you. But this very long answer to tell us nothing about these things is just beyond me. And the fact that a lot of people came out of that long, weird, confusing answer to the conclusion of, oh, they hear us, so that means they're working. Like, where? How did you get that from that response? I'm confused. I'm getting heated up. I choked on my own words. But yes, I'm confused how you can get from that of, oh, they hear us, it's getting worked out. We must have been hearing the same live stream, and it was translated in our minds completely differently, because that's not what I'm hearing. What I'm hearing is the girls are mad, and the girls are tired, and the girls are tired of the shenanigans. So, like, I mean, what is it? Like, tell us the real, like, what is really going on, EA? Like, because your girl is tired, and I just need them to be a little bit more honest and transparent about this. But I've yammered on too long about this live stream. This is just a quick, my take on this whole situation, real quick, while this information is relevant and I'm needing to vent because, again, your girl is mad. But again, if you like this video, please give it a big old like so I know to keep making content like this. And again, subscribe if you haven't. I would love to have you as a part of the Dazzle Squad. Until next time, please stay safe, stay healthy, and of course, stay dazzled. I will see you in the next one. Bye.